All right, welcome back to the Ode Chronicles. I'm Libby Reitman, your moderator and fan of all things endurance. But as you may have figured out, I am the biggest fan of our Ode Racing series, an amazing assortment of running events held in my home state of Michigan. So for those of you guys who are new to this platform, the Ode Chronicles is where we get to know our event participants and discover what it takes to run one loop or many. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I encourage you to take a look at our previous episodes. We have some really inspiring runners that I've gotten to chat with, and I know you guys will enjoy the interviews and learn a lot from them. So tonight is no exception. I once again have the privilege of chatting with two amazing athletes who just competed in one of our events, which we lovingly call Ode to Snow, or 8 Hours of Ode. And that took place on January 15th, just a few weeks ago. Ode to Snow is our Ode series winter event. It has a few different running format options, and we'll talk about those, but I want to welcome Brad Hornburg, who, if you can give me a wave. All right.
Hi, everybody.
And Tyler DuRussel.
Hi.
So thanks for joining me, guys, tonight. I know it took a little bit to organize this and get everything working properly, but we made it, and we're going to have a nice chat. So you guys ran Ode to Snow, and we have, like I said, we have a couple different options for distances to run this event. And you can run backyard style for 8 hours. You can run continuously for up to 8 hours. And then we also have a 5K, 10K, or just a one lap, which is the 4.17 mile loop. What did you guys run?
I ran it backyard style.
Okay.
I ran the backyard as well.
All right. And you guys made it the whole 8 hours.
Sure did.
Amazingly, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were all running alongside each other for a lot of it. We all made it to 8 hours, and we had a lot of fun doing it. This actually, my background picture is a picture from this year's event. And we just want to thank Tad for hosting this again and giving us a great event to look forward to in the winter. So you guys are here not only because you're awesome, but because I want to personally congratulate you on your performances. You both did something special this year, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But I want to get to know you guys first. So let me begin by you telling me a little bit about yourselves. So Brad, we can start with you. Where are you from, and how did you first hear about our Ode events?
So I now live in Royal Oak, but I'm originally from a small town called Dowagiac, Michigan, way southwest. And I originally heard of Ode about a year ago through my cousin Chaz and Andrew. I went running with the two of them, and they decided that they were going to try to talk me into running Ode. And at first, the thought of it being last man standing was really intimidating. And they go, you just run as far as you can and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I decided I would use it for a 50-mile training run and went from there.
Nice. And how about you, Tyler?
I'm from a little further north, up in Freeland, Michigan here, and I also heard about the Ode about a year ago. It was October of 2020, when my buddies, who's real into long distance running, was just telling me all about the different formats of ultra running, and he mentioned bigs. I'm like, what the heck's a bigs? And eventually he told me about backyards, and I found Ode online.
So did you guys both run our July main event first before doing an Ode to Snow, or had you ever done an Ode to Snow before?
I started with the July one.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not. I meant to, and injuries and health reasons stopped me from doing it, but I got to volunteer there and check out the whole situation. So it was pretty fun still.
Okay, awesome. So Tyler, for you, coming out in this January was really your first time running the course.
Yep, it was my first time. I came on New Year's Day with you guys and ran a few laps, but yep, that was my first time on the course.
Okay. All right. Now, Brad, so you ran last year in July. Was that your first backyard event, or have you been running ultras for a while?
So going into that event, I'd been running ultras for about 2 years. But that was my first attempt at a backyard.
Okay.
And it was, honestly, it's probably my favorite format now.
Nice. Why?
Just something about it just feels easier
Okay.
to a certain extent, because you get that break in between yards to kind of recuperate, kind of reset yourself for the next lap. Versus continuous, you don't get that chance to kind of reset, refocus. And so that to me makes it feel a little easier. Also, the ability to actually just sit there and run with everybody at the start of each yard and throughout the yard is just huge. It makes it a lot more fun than just everybody taking off at the start. Maybe see somebody around 40 miles in, but
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I wouldn't have thought about that when you space out so much in a regular ultra that you don't really necessarily run with a bunch of people. Maybe you are in like a small group for a little while or something, but yeah, it's definitely not as social, I guess.
No, and the change with the normal ode into the night course was really cool, because then you're run by people and there's probably 6 or 7 groups, all with different music playing, and so you can kind of bounce between different groups and kind of get a feel for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just a really unique experience, and it was awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you loved it. We love it too. So, so Tyler, so as a first Ode series event for you, this Ode to Snow, it wasn't your first time running an ultra though. You've done ultra before. You ran, was it Arctic Frog?
Yep, that was my first one was in December, the Arctic Frog, yeah.
Okay. And how, I know I Googled you or looked you up on Ultra Sign Up, and I know you did well in that race. So
Yeah, it was good.
what did you think of backyard style versus a traditional ultra? Was it?
I can't wait for the backyard. It just, kind of like Brad said, it just seems so much more fun. The race I did had, I think, a 50K and a 25K also. And then once they finished their race, it was a looped course as well. You're alone for the next 5 hours, and that's just miserable to get through. And so the fact that every hour you get to restart with everybody, and for the most part, even on the trail, be with everyone the full time, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Did you find yourself running with people, like with a group during the snow race? Or I know you were leading the pack most of the time.
Yeah, no, my goal that day was just to win every lap. So
that was your goal?
That was my only goal. I figured if I try to do that, good things will happen. But obviously, when the main event comes, that won't be the goal.
Okay. we might have to rethink that strategy if it is.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
So, what I think we can agree that, running for 8 hours or more, it kind of goes beyond running for fun. Because I mean, yeah, we probably did have fun for the full 8 hours, but no one really signs up for an 8-hour event expecting that they might have fun the whole time. So, what is it about a long running like this, ultra running, is it for you, is it going outside your comfort zone? What makes you want to sign up for these kind of ridiculously long events? Tyler, if you want to start.
Oh, yeah. Well, first off, when you have Seth in your tent, the whole 8 hours is a blast either way. So it was fun. But yeah, no,
that is my husband, for those of you guys, you've never met him on this Chronicles, and I don't think you should be allowed on. very exuberant. So
Yeah,
I
he was a blast.
appreciate you said that.
But other than that, yeah, I have really limited experience so far, but it's just figuring out what you're capable of and then going just kind of one step further and proving yourself wrong or failing and going, well, at least that's my starting point for the next time.
Yeah. Brad, how about you?
Kind of for me, at least in like training runs, it's the long distances. I love the fact that you can kind of just space out and gives you time to just kind of think about whatever kind of nonsense comes to your mind over the time period. As far as races go, especially with Ode, it's pushing yourself, seeing what you can do. And that challenge is awesome.
Yeah. I like, when I first signed up for an Ode event, I never thought that I would enjoy the thought process that goes into the rest time. I just thought, oh, well, you run and then you rest and then you run and then you rest. But actually there's quite a lot of thought you have to put into how you're resting and what you're doing during that rest time. So I found that kind of to be fun. I don't know if the planning part of it is kind of fun to see if your plan works.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. My crew was giving me a hard time. The people that came and hung out with me for 8 hours. I walk in with like a little duffel bag and a little tote bag of food in it. And they walk into the tent and they see the moors set up and your guys set up. And they're like, Tyler, I don't think you know what you're doing for this, man. You seem like you're missing a lot of stuff. There's definitely a lot to go into it.
There's definitely various ways of preparing. And just because you have the full setup doesn't mean that you're going to go as far as you think you are. I mean, Piotr last year, I think he had like a towel and a bag of Pringles or something, like he barely had anything with him either. And I don't even think he had a chair. So like, and he went far. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
The farthest, so
the
really
time he managed.
Yeah.
The amount of time he managed to survive off of beer and potato chips is just astonishing.
Yeah. So we're still impressed, Piotr. Still impressed. But yeah, you learn a lot when you look at what everybody else has. It's like gear envy, ooh, I want one of those. That's a good idea.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, those of us who run the Ode events, we definitely come to look at our participants as family. We even refer to ourselves as the Ode family in basically everything we do, even in training runs. So do you guys feel like you were welcomed into that family? And what would you say to other runners who are considering, one of our events? How about Brad? You guys are so polite.
I do enough of these meetings that it's always hard to tell when to start talking, unlike being in person. Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely say I was welcomed into the group. Honestly, the group is almost too welcoming to a certain extent. Like it almost is overwhelming because you're meeting so many people and trying to remember everybody's name while also focusing on the race. Everybody's almost too friendly race day.
That's a thing.
Yeah, and I mean everybody's willing to help and offer everything as you're going through race day. My advice for anybody looking to sign up and coming in for their first time, just come in with an open mind, have a goal, but definitely be willing to continue on. If you're feeling good, just see what you can do. Just talk to as many people as you can, because everybody's got great advice out there. Nobody's gonna try to steer you wrong. Mm-hmm. And honestly, just have fun and rely on your training, but at the same time be willing to adapt if somebody gives you a little bit of advice. But like I said, nobody's trying to harm your race in any way. Everybody wants to see how long everybody else can go.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I echo that. I mean, it was what, 10 days out when I messaged you and was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to get my tent anymore. Can I bum a chair spot off you? Like, yeah, no problem. And I get there and there's 3 or 4 tents set up, making a little tent mansion going on. Everyone just welcoming and invited in there. And that's what, similar to Brad, I've been telling, well, probably 3 or 4 people that have reached out to me that want to do a half marathon this year. And I'm like, forget the half marathon, man. There's a couple of these backyards this year. Come to there. If you can only do 3 laps and get your half marathon in, fine. But you know, you got a good group of people. Go for 4. Everyone's gonna be telling you to go for 5. Again, similar to Brad, it's like just be ready to go beyond what you think you can, because you really can, especially, you know, with the format and how encouraging the rest of the group is there.
Yeah. And I mean, we have very serious runners, and we also have, you know, people who are just out there to have a good time. And then we have people who are both. And so, you know, not only are you going to have a good time, but you can take it seriously. Just don't take it too seriously. Right. I definitely, like, at the beginning, you know, during the setup of race day, you know, you're like, I kind of have that feeling like, okay, I can't talk to anybody yet until I get all my stuff done, and because they're all going to distract me, and I want to go say hi and hang out, but like I need to like do this. So it, like you said, Brad, it can be a little bit overwhelming how friendly everybody is, and everyone wants to get to know you and stuff. But it's all for the best. Because you will get encouraged to go farther.
Oh, everybody is going to talk you into doing something a little bit stupid. But it's honestly really fun. That's when it actually starts getting fun, is when it starts to get to you're stupid. It might be normal for everybody else there, but when you start, if you're used to like the 6 yards and something like that, once you start getting up there into 16, 18s, and that's when I honestly almost relaxed more after I passed what my initial goal was.
Okay.
Just because it's like, okay, I've accomplished what I set out to do. Now let's just have some fun and see what happens.
Okay.
Kind of deal.
Yeah. That's a good way to think of it.
See, I'm the total opposite of it. Like, once I get to the point where like goals are reached and stuff, it can't be any fun. Like, the second it doesn't become competitive anymore, I gotta leave. I'm done. I'm bored. It hurts. I don't want to be done if I don't have anyone there holding me accountable. Again, it's the tough part of this, because everyone's so nice and friendly, and it's a big family and party. And it's like, how do you get a competitive, angry mindset going on against these people that you're also cheering for to keep going super far?
Yeah.
It's unique.
Well, you know, it was probably like 2 years ago. I think it might have been the first Ode event. I'd have to go back and look now, but we have an episode where I talked to the Ohio boys, and their mentality as far as goal setting, I really liked. They said, if you want to go 100 miles, like say your goal is to make it 100 miles, you better get it in your mind that your goal is now to make 150 miles. Because as soon as you reach 100 miles, you're going to want to quit. Oh, I got the goal. I'm done. I'm good. You know what I mean? And so they said, always go over and beyond for your goal. And then, you know, if you make it 100, cool. You know, make it 150, even better. So, so I kind of like that. I always try to tell myself, like, oh, I'm going to go a little bit farther, you know, and
you have to.
Yeah. But I'm glad you guys felt welcomed into the family, and maybe a little bit too welcome. we're looking for a second family, but now you got it, right? Do you guys have any memories from this January, the Ode to Snow event, that stand out to you? For me, I'd say it was watching Tyler haul ass every single loop in the same sweatpants for the entire 8 hours. Every time I saw you, I was like, oh my God, he's still got the same sweatpants on. He's got to be so cold. But
So to be fair, there was a fancy pair of running tights underneath there, but it was just too cold that day.
okay. You just gave up trying to change.
Exactly. I was like, well, this is just an outer layer. We'll roll with it.
Okay. So yeah, any memories that stand out to you guys other than my crazy husband cheering you on?
Yeah, I was gonna say most of them have to do with Seth, and my buddies come out and be like, I don't know if they know this, but it's only 11:30. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, the one that stands out the most also involves you. Lap, I think at 3 it was. I finally felt comfortable with the loop, and I was kind of zoning out my own head. Just before, it was probably about a half mile, a little more into it, and I realized I missed my turn to go up the stairway to heaven, and ended up going like a quarter mile out of the way before I came back around and ran into you guys. That's a good way to feel like a newbie.
Yeah. There were signs, everyone. There was a sign.
A lot of signs.
Yeah, like this way, turn back, wrong way. You were, you
Yep.
must have been half asleep or something.
Yeah, I was just having a good time. The sun was out. It felt good. And then I'm thinking, well, there goes the main goal.
At least you recognized your error.
Yes. I didn't do it again.
No.
I almost never wanted to go up the stairway to heaven because the sun was just so much warmer right at the bottom of that hill. And I just never actually wanted to leave that spot.
Yeah. And that spot of the trail too was probably the most treacherous spot because of the sun. It was getting pretty slick at the bottom of that hill.
I have never fallen before while running, and I fell 3 times right in that stretch that day.
Okay.
It got slick.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with all of our feet on it, melting a little bit and then refreezing, and that's what makes the snow run a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say that was probably I'd almost give that the second slickest spot. I think I almost biffed it more, probably about mile 2.5 to 3.
Okay.
When you're going through that second stretch right along the lake, and it kind of darted through. I'd probably say about yard 5, it was pretty much just all mud at that point where it kind of weaves through.
Yeah.
That spot was so slick before it turned to mud, and then it's just mud on frozen ground, and then it started to freeze over again by the final lap.
Yeah.
So that was, I think I about biffed it there more than anywhere else.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get on this course in the winter. And when we had done, when Tyler and I and another group of Ode family people, we had done the New Year's Day run on the loop. Oh man, it was so muddy. Tad had actually said this is the worst conditions I've ever seen it, and we ended up getting off the trail and running the road for the rest of the time because we didn't want to trash the trail. But yeah, it was a mud pit, complete mud pit. So you never know what you're going to get. Luckily, we had a nice crusting. I felt like the conditions this year were better than last year as far as the quality of the snow, and it wasn't just all ice.
Okay.
But yeah, you never know what you're going to get. You got to bring all sorts of different shoe, items and all your, what I'm trying to think of, your cleats and all that stuff, and see what works. So, how did your cruise hold up? Because Brad, did you have your own crew, or were you just like bouncing around?
I was just kind of hanging out in that moored tent with you guys. And I mean, it's one of those that I figured it's only 8 hours, so not much need for many things. It's one of those, I didn't even change that day. Just rocked it out. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tyler brought his whole entourage.
Oh yeah. We were gonna have more, and then a couple of my buddy and his fiance, they got COVID, so we had to shut that down.
Oh,
But
man.
Okay.
yeah, they were ready to party. They did all right. I remember my wife and my sister were real angry about the cold, but they all had a good time. Seth kept them in good spirits. What can I say?
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
it was-
back corner was so much fun. It was fun to migrate from the more table into that back section
you
to
know,
warm up and just
I,
BS with everybody.
I'm really angry because you guys came in way faster than I did, and you actually got to enjoy it. Every time I came in, everyone was already there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Libby," and I was like, "What's everybody doing?" Like I had to like bust in there and grab my own stuff, and Seth wasn't helping me. Like I was like, "Okay, whatever." They're just having fun. But like you said, 8 hours, you can totally crew yourself. I mean, it's nice to have somebody there,
Oh yeah.
especially if you're going to change and then they can help you change. That's what I found was most helpful, because it's hard
Yeah.
to put on clothes when you're already like totally wet. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely doable. Past that though, you might need some encouragement after that.
Yeah, after that, and you having somebody else to kind of walk you through things and be like, okay, did you actually remember to fill your water bottle this time? Or
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So speaking of water bottles, how did you guys feel like you did on hydrating that day? Because my water bottles kept freezing.
I did terrible, absolutely terrible. So the Arctic Frog I did perfect on nutrition, hydrating, everything. And it was, I think 8 hours, 11 minutes that one was. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep the same strategy for 8 hours. Oh, it makes sense. But I way overdressed for Ode and was sweating way more. And I just kept with the same plan, not even thinking about how much more I was sweating. So laps like 4 through 8 was just cramps that I could not come back from, no matter how much I tried. So I really wish I would have drank a lot more.
Oh, I didn't realize you were cramping. You hit that pretty well.
Oh, it was, you like look at my splits and it goes from like 36 laps like 41 just in one instance. Yeah, it was rough.
Oh man, did you take any salt tablets or anything?
Yeah, yep. I just those, I don't know if they're 12 ounces or 16 ounces, the littler Gatorades. Usually if I do like one of those an hour, it's plenty good enough for me, but I was sweating a lot that day that I didn't take into account.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, bundled up as you were and then running as fast as you were. I mean, the one lap that I went about your speed, I was sweating so hard at the end. I can't imagine you making it through the entire day doing that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the hard part, right? Because you get so hot while you're on the trail, no matter what speed you're going. And then you finish up and you just instantly start freezing. So you bundle back up and you never really know what temperature or how thirsty you are or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make it challenging. The variations of getting cold while you're resting. So
Yeah.
I want to talk about that too with you, Tyler. So for the race, you guys, you both ran backyard style for the full 8 hours. What did you have a strategy on? Did you guys bring changes of clothes, or you just decided not to, like once you were into it?
Yeah, I changed I think after yard 3 and yard 5. I changed just my tops just to get a little less sweaty and heavy.
Okay. And then Brad, you wore the same thing the whole time?
I did. I had a change of clothes and just didn't take the time to do it. I didn't really feel it was that necessary. I was able to manage my body temperature enough during each loop that it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay. You didn't get cold while you were resting?
It got cold while I was resting, and it would take about the first mile to warm back up.
Okay.
And then after that, it was just one of those that if I started to get a little bit hot, pop my gloves off and take my hat off for a little bit. And then once body started to cool back down, throw them back on, just kind of managing it that way.
Okay, gotcha. So you guys, did you feel like your event went well overall? Were there, I mean, I guess that you probably would consider yourself struggling a little bit during those cramps, Tyler, but was there any part of the race in which you felt like you were struggling, like you maybe thought you didn't want to go on, or were you guys feeling good the whole time?
Just one. So I think I told you on New Year's Day when we were running, where I'm from, you can see, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 miles down the road at a time. Like it's just flat. And the first few laps, the stairway was fine. But by like lap 3, I'd have to stop for like 20, 30 seconds at the top and just stretch out. I told Andrew on the last lap, I'm like, somehow you guys still managed to undersell this to me, like how awful this hill is. And so that was tough every time to get up that hill, the last probably 5 yards.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys, I want to touch on, but so we don't run out of time, I want to touch on what you guys did and why I wanted to interview the both of you in particular. So Tyler ran every, and we've kind of already said it, he ran every backyard loop except for one, significantly faster than the rest of our runners. And we've determined that you have actually set a new record for the fastest ode to snow overall time on your feet. So
cool.
yeah, if we look at, let's see, it was,
Thanks,
your overall time on your feet was 5 hours and 12 minutes for the 8-hour event. So that's, I don't know what the previous record was because Tad didn't have all those details for me, but it was significantly faster than anybody had ever done it. So kudos to you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
I don't know
Thank
if I
you.
recommend trying to go that fast. I kept telling you to slow down, but you were killing it. So we talked about the downtime, and you said that, you know, your goal was to run it faster than anybody on every lap. Did you know that there was, you just wanted to set a record, or you just wanted to use it as a competitive edge?
So when I initially heard about the backyard ode, obviously the goal is to win that when I set out. And I told my mother about that, and then she ended up dying from cancer right afterwards. So after that, I was like, the first time I get a chance to set foot on this course, I'm gonna go win the race. So no matter what that day, yeah, I was just gonna make sure I went all out and won it.
Nice job. I'm so sorry about your mom. She'd be very proud of you, I'm sure.
Thank you.
You might think you were a little bit crazy, but I'm sure she'd be proud. So, you know, so Brad was like the sleeping, you know, the sleeper runner, and he was just taking it easy. I feel like during the race, you know, just having fun. But then that last lap, he just went all out and blasted by everybody, and ended up setting the new record for our fastest last lap. Came in at 34 minutes 52 seconds, which that's, I mean, I don't know how you do that on tire legs, but
Yeah, that's
you
cooking.
did it. And was this something that you decided to do right from the get-go, or was Andrew annoying you and you just decided that you needed to beat the record? How did that come out?
So it's something that he and I had kind of talked about beforehand, and going into the day, I was playing with the idea of going for the last lap record.
Okay.
Honestly, 4 yards in, and I was really considering not doing it just because of the trail condition. And then for whatever reason, the 6th and 7th yards, I decided I was just going to scope out my line for the final lap and actually figure out what I needed to hit where and the best way to avoid any possible slippage.
Okay.
And remember when I said that the family likes to try to talk you into doing stupid stuff?
No, I don't remember that.
There was plenty of encouragement from other people there to actually just full on go for it on the final lap. And I didn't necessarily need the extra encouragement to do it at that point, but it definitely didn't hurt.
Okay. Well, you guys were awesome the entire time, and that just made it. The last lap always makes it fun. Were you trying to race him, Tyler, or did you just say, you can have it, man?
So like through the parking lot, he looked good, and I'm like, all right, if you're gonna try, you got to go now. And I picked it up like a half a step. I'm like, if I try to do this, I might DNF. So we're gonna not go with it. He looked good.
Okay.
He looked good.
All right. Yeah. You gotta come in. You gotta come in looking still fresh, right?
Right.
I was a little bit concerned on the out and back because I'd kind of fallen off a little bit coming back in, and I saw how close you guys all were, and it's like, oh, I might blow this in the final mile and a half.
Listen, that out and back is hard. I don't know if anyone else thinks that, but the back of the out and back, I think is the toughest part. That's tough.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
it creeps up on you.
It really
Yes.
does.
Yeah. So we've got, let's see, about 3 minutes left, and I want to get a speed round in, okay? So if you had made it to the Stairway to Heaven one more time, would you have done it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good job. What was your biggest fear or unknown going into Ode to Snow?
The stairway.
Just the course conditions, how icy it was.
Okay. How good did that hot shower feel afterwards?
Amazing.
It was so good.
It was the top of the Stairway to Heaven.
Yes. So Pigeon Hill Brewing Company is our beloved Ode series sponsor and provides us with these tasty beverages. Yeah. I don't know how I don't have any at home.
Thank you,
guys.
Pigeon Hill.
Did you participate in our Pigeon Hill challenge? So this was where we had to consume the entire beer set on this table right at the beginning of the race within the first 0.4 miles. So that goes up the road hill to the Yellow Gate and back. Did you guys do it, and how did you feel?
I did it both laps that it was offered and felt fine.
Okay.
I didn't. I knew I really wanted to, but I knew I was having a really good day, and I did not want to upset my stomach and ruin it.
That was probably
Somebody was
why.
running too fast to drink a beer.
It's shameful, really.
It was like a beer. It was a beersicle. It was really good. Do you have a celebrity running crush other than Sarah Moore?
Oh, well, no, that's just cheating.
I know. I love Sarah.
It's got to be Courtney, right? No matter who
All
you are.
right.
She's just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Courtney's definitely a good one. Killian, I am so jealous of all of his runs that he posts up in the mountains. That just looks amazing.
Yeah, I second that. And then what is your favorite trail or favorite place to train?
Potawatomi.
I don't have any trails. So I'm just going to say the roads around my house because they're all the same. Just farm fields to run around.
Okay. Well, hey guys, we are going to get cut off here. I want to thank you again for joining me. As always, it's such a pleasure to chat with our family members, and we hope that you come back and check out our other races. We've got a lot going on. Check out Ultra Sign Up for all the events and details on those. And hopefully we'll see you guys in May, June, July. All right, we got a lot going on. So
We got to get the team race amped up for the Ode to the Hoff.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, all right, guys, thanks again for listening to the Ode Chronicles, and we'll see you next time.